Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing fine. Today's lesson is the connection between fractions, decimals, and percentages. The first part of the lesson is to express a decimal as a percentage. The first step you got to do is first to turn the decimal into a fraction. We have learned before that a decimal is a fraction which has a denominator 10 or a power of 10. As I said, as many digits as the decimal has after the decimal point, as many zeros the denominator of the fraction will have. You have some examples here I wrote for you. 0.5 has one digit after the decimal point, so the denominator of the fraction will have one zero. So as a fraction, it will be 5 over 10. 0.48 has two digits after the decimal point, so the denominator will have two zeros. As a fraction, it will be 48 over 100. 0.249 has three digits after the decimal point, so the denominator will have three zeros. As a fraction, it will be 249 over 1000. After you have done the first step, now you have to turn the fractions into percentages. As I said the previous lesson, a percentage is a number expressed by a fraction which has the denominator 100. But only the second fraction here has the denominator 100. So 48 over 100, as a percentage, it will be just 48%. What about the other fractions which doesn't have the denominator 100? In the first case, we have 5 over 10. You have to turn them into fractions which have the denominator 100. To turn 10 into 100, you just have to multiply by 10. Do the same thing with 5. So multiply both numerator and denominator by 10. As a fraction, it will be 50 over 100. So as a percentage, it will be 50%. What about the third fraction, which is 249 over 1000? To turn 1000 into 100, you have to divide it by 10. You have to do the same thing with 249. But 249 divided by 10 would be 24.9. So as a fraction with denominator 100, it will be 24.9 over 100. And as a percentage, it will be 24.9%. You have some examples given in your books to turn decimals into percentages. The example 5 says you have to write 0.35 and 0.3 as percentages. First step would be to turn 0.35 into a fraction. As a fraction, it is 35 over 100. And then from fraction to percentage, as a percentage, it is 35%. 0.3 as a fraction is 3.10. First of all, you have to turn it into a fraction with denominator 100. So you multiply both the numerator and denominator by 10. It is 30 over 100. And then, as a percentage, it will be 30%. The second way to turn a decimal into a percentage would be to multiply by 100. As we learned before, when you multiply a decimal by 100, it means you have to move the decimal point 2 digits to the right. So you have the example 6 here, which says write 0.316 as a percentage. You have to multiply 0.316 with 100. So you have to move the decimal point 2 digits to the right. From 0.316, it will be 31.6. And then you just add the percentages sign. Well, you have below here the exercises you have to complete for this part of the lesson. The second part of the lesson would be to convert percentages to decimals. There are two ways of converting a percentage to decimal. The first method would be to divide by 100, and the second method would be to move the decimal point. So let's see, the easiest way would be to divide it by 100. You have some examples here. You have to convert 75% to decimal format. You have to divide 75 by 100. To divide 75 by 100, it would be the same as to write it as a fraction 75 over 100. So the result will be 0.75. That means that 75% as a decimal is 0.75. The second way is to move the decimal point. So is actually the same way as dividing by 100. You have to move the decimal point 2 digits to the left. You have to convert 75% to decimal format. 75% is same as 75.00. You have to convert it to decimal. You need to move the decimal point 2 digits to the left. So one digit would be between 7 and 5, and the other digit would be before 7. You just add a 0 before, and as a decimal is 0.75. What if you have more complex numbers? I wrote some examples for you in order to understand. 100% becomes 1 or 1.00. 150% becomes 1.5. Since the decimal point moves 2 digits to the left, it would be between 1 and 5. 75.435 becomes 0.75435. 0.5% becomes 0.005 as a decimal. You have an example here expressing percentages as decimals. Example 7 says you have to write 45% as a decimal. He has used the first method, which is to divide it by 100. So 45%, here first wrote it as a fraction, which is 45 over 100, and then 45 over 100 as a decimal would be 0.45%. You can use whatever method you want. I just want you to understand it. It doesn't matter which method you use. Just have to be correct. Well, this was the lesson for today. You have below here the exercises you have to complete for the second part of the lesson. If you didn't understand something or got a question to do, don't hesitate to ask me. Thank you for your attention.